Welcome back to our Nashville Sounds coverage of the annual baseball winter meetings in Nashville here at the Opryland Resort. Jeff Hem with you, joined by Jonathan Mayo from MLB.com. If you look at where Chad Pinder ended last year, Sean Minaya coming over from the Royals, a couple of names I would think Sounds fans should want to get to know.
Yeah, Pinder will probably get there first, would be my guess, just because Minaya had missed so much time with the injuries that he's had. Both had real good Arizona fall leagues. But I think Pinder gets there first, and he can hit. I don't think he's really a shortstop. Probably has a chance to be an everyday second baseman. I think an offensive-minded second baseman would be a good defender over there, or he could be a kind of super utility guy. He could play second, third, and short. Showed some good power, surprising power in the Arizona Fall League. That's a hitting-friendly league, but people definitely noticed. I had a couple of scouts mention that they were surprised the consistent hard contact coming off his bat. So if you have a guy who's going to maybe give you 12 to 15 homers, maybe he's an everyday second baseman. And Minaya is probably the one guy who, if he puts it all together and stays healthy, he could be that elite level, top of the rotation kind of guy that's in their system right now after that trade. He's got great stuff in the body. He looks like what they're supposed to look like. I think it's just a question of him getting innings and staying healthy and refining his command a little bit. But he's probably the one guy that should make A's fans and Nashville Sounds fans, oh boy, it's going to be fun to go see him throw every 5 days.
What are some of the things that you personally look for when you watch prospects in person? Maybe because you see them at times in A-ball, and then a couple years later you might see them later. What are you looking to see that they've added to their game that tells you, I think this person's got a chance to be a solid big leaguer?
Well, some of it is just small adjustments. I mean, baseball is a game of adjustments, and they'll often enter into pro ball with great raw tools or tremendous arm strength, if you're a pitcher or hitter. This isn't a sport where you can just show up and use your athleticism and really succeed at the highest level. Even the guys who make it, who are premium athletes, have to work on those little things. And so you want to see a guy, if it's a hitter, you want to see him refine his strike zone judgment and his plate discipline and work deeper counts and get better pitches to hit and then not miss those pitches. For pitchers, it's usually just a command thing. Maybe it's adding a third pitch if they don't have a changeup or they didn't throw it much as a high schooler especially. You need 3 pitches if you're going to start. And those little fine-tuning of things that allow really good players to become great players or at least to become big leaguers.
What are your thoughts about a guy or two that maybe won't get to Nashville in 2016 but could down the road? You read about Franklin Barreto, who came to the A's from the Blue Jays, as in some ways maybe their most highly regarded prospect.
Yeah, Barreto's a great example. And if you told me that he'd be in Nashville second half of 2016, I don't know that I would say that's impossible. I think the A's have shown a willingness to move guys more quickly. Granted, they did that with Addison Russell and Billy McKinney, and they traded them before upper-level teams got to see them. But Barreto's following a similar path. They send him, to the California League at a really young age, and he played well before, he had some injury problems, but it's nothing that's going to be long-lasting. So I assume he moves up to Double-A. If he's hitting really well in Double-A, I could see them promoting him to Triple-A, even if it's just at the very end of the year. Sometimes that depends on if a team's in the playoffs and they want to give him that experience. But he's a guy that I think could get there. And if I'm a Nashville Sounds fan and an A's fan, you want that to happen because then you have a really young guy. He's already way ahead of the curve. He's a dynamic up-the-middle player who can stay up the middle. He can really hit. I mean, he can really do everything. And it's funny that you brought him up because initially you think of him as being so young, but I could see him performing his way and forcing their hand up the ladder a little bit.
Thanks a lot for your time, Jonathan. We appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Jonathan Mayo from MLB.com. This is Jeff M. Thanks for watching Nashville Sounds coverage of the annual baseball winter meetings here at Opryland.